Well, just by those shots right there, you know you got some young football players getting ready to take the field this afternoon between the Colts and the Jaguars. Josh Scobie will tee it up for the Jags. Jaguars won the toss. They deferred till the second half. And for the Colts, they've heard it all week long. They signed Josh Cribbs, who is a kickoff specialist. He has 11 career return touchdowns, 8 as a kickoff guy, and 3 returning punts. So he'll get his first opportunity, the 31-year-old. He was just out there. We saw him in practice this week, and he looked pretty darn good. So here we go, part 2 between the Colts and the Jaguars. We are underway from Indianapolis, and Cribbs will field it 9 yards deep, and why not? He's coming out. Cribbs obviously still has that explosiveness to the outside. Breaks it across the 30, has a blocker, and gets himself out to the 38-yard line. Welcome back to the NFL, Josh Cribbs.
Well, that'll certainly get you liked by all your new teammates when you make contributions like that. But great job setting it up to the right, bouncing it to the left. Cribbs, one of the best returners the game has seen the last 15, 20 years in the NFL. Gets the offense started on the right foot here.
Well, he jokingly said this week that he wanted to eliminate some of Andrew Luck's stats because he wanted to have returns like this. And there is Luck. He leads the NFL in passing yardage with over 3,300. Boom Herron is in the backfield, and he'll start at tailback for the Colts on first down from the 37. And the play is blown dead, so our first flag. Ed Hockley.
False start offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
Oh, you think after all the games that Kobe Fleener's played with Andrew Luck that he would know the snap count?
You would think he'd be pretty used to his voice, that's for sure. That'll drive an offensive coordinator and a head coach crazy because this is probably a play they've known they were going to start the game with for a day or two. So little things like that certainly will drive offensive coordinator Pep Hamilton a little mad.
Well, on first down, they move it back 5 yards. A pistol formation for the Colts. And Luck to throw. And his first pass is to Boom Herron. And Herron trying to prove a point. Gets up to the 41. The Colts offense, they have 2 rookies along the offensive line. So that means Costanzo, he has been the steadying force on the left side for Indianapolis. We mentioned T.Y. Hilton just arriving before game time. Trent Richardson realizes there's a lot of responsibility on him with the injury to Ahmad Bradshaw, and also Boom Herron, who's in the backfield once again after that reception. From the 41 on second down, Herron's first carry of the day. He keeps his legs moving. J.T. Thomas makes the tackle. Speaking of J.T. Thomas and the rest of the Jacksonville defense, Senderick Marks, that's your guy. You love Senderick Marks, and he's really had a solid season for the Jaguars. The linebacking crew, it's the 6th different starting lineup in the linebacking crew this year. And they are young and athletic when it comes to the Jaguars secondary. Trent Richardson back is in for the first time. It's third down, 3rd and 1 for the Colts. Hilton's in motion. Richardson running left, and boy, he may not have gotten it. Depends on the spot.
Looks like big Senderick Marks got in there. Make the tackle. This is a stout defensive line for this Jacksonville Jaguars team.
Well, they do say first down, so it'll be first down at 10 for Indianapolis.
Well, you see Senderick Marks there. He fights through the double team, makes a nice tackle. If there's an MVP to this Jacksonville defense right now, it is Senderick Marks. He's been playing at a Pro Bowl level at that 3 technique along that defensive line.
They have 5 sacks this year. That leads the Jaguars. Overall, they have 28 sacks. On first down for the 46. Luck to throw again. He's under pressure. Ball is swatted away. It's still alive, and it looks like the Jaguars have picked it up. Chris Clemens knocked it away, and the first turnover of the day, the Jaguars are able to force.
Yes, big play right there. We talked about this in the opening. I really think a big key to the success for this Jacksonville defense today. Got to get pressure with just the front 4. It's set up by Senderick Marks again, making Luck move within the pocket. He steps up, and then Chris Clemens, what we've seen him do for the Seattle Seahawks and their Super Bowl run last year, unbelievable play. That's what Gus Bradley wanted to jumpstart this Jaguars team. Good job by the Jags D-line.
Yeah, Bob Babich, their defensive coordinator, basically said the same thing. It was one of 3 keys for his team coming into this ball game. Telvin Smith fell on top of the football. So the Jaguars, their first possession of the day, they're inside Colts territory. And Blake Bortles, 14 interceptions. That's been the big focal point since he took over the last time these two teams faced each other. He does have Mercedes Lewis at tight end. The first handoff goes to Robinson. It'll get a couple yards to the left. Let's take a look at the Jaguars offense. Luke Jokel on the left tackle position. Second-year pro out of Texas A&M. Bowenko is the rookie at the center spot. Of course, Mercedes Lewis hasn't played since the Steelers game. That's a huge target for the Jaguars to get back. And there he is, lined up on the left side of the offensive line. From the 44. Bortles to throw again. And passes intercepted on the near side. Vontae Davis. He's got Bortles to miss. And he's wrapped up and taken down at the 21. Taufolo came over to record the tackle and stop the touchdown.
Well, you see here, the tight end's really running just a little what you call a tight end out route. Great job by Vontae Davis. Big thing there, I'm not so mad at the decision by Blake Bortles. The throw was poor. He throws the ball behind a big target. You see there, the ball wobbles. But, hey, when you're throwing along to the sidelines, a big target like Mercedes Lewis, throw it high and outside where he can get it and no one else can. This is a part of the rookie progression for a young quarterback in Blake Bortles right now.
Yeah, 6'6", and now you give the Colts an opportunity inside the 25 after they turned it over. The handoff goes to Richardson, doing a little dancing, and he's taken down by Geno Hayes. But he did get positive yards inside the 20. Well, Trent Richardson, after the injury to Ahmad Bradshaw, really took the responsibility of this running game on his shoulders. And Ahmad has meant an awful lot to this team, and in particular to Richardson and how he's played.
Definitely has, and there's a lot of critiquing of Richardson and his running. You got to remember, it is a young offensive line as well. Has he played as well as you'd like? No, he certainly hasn't, but it's not just all on Trent Richardson.
On second down, out of the shotgun is Luck. And that ball is swatted away. Give some credit to Red Bryant. He got a hand on that one. So it'll be third down. Oh, Chuck Pagano talked about the injuries and how important it was for the next man to step up. He was excited to see what Richardson and even Boom Herron was going to do. And there you see the injuries that have taken place recently for the Colts. It doesn't include Robert Mathis, who's been out for the year, too.
The big one there, and we'll talk about it, is Dwayne Allen, because he is such a vital part and a mismatch nightmare for a lot of defenses.
It's third down. The Colts need to get to the 12 for first down. Luck is wrapped up and taken down by Chris Clemens. Well, they say his leadership has been the big key, but I'll tell you what, his athleticism is pretty darn good, too.
Well, he certainly can rush the quarterback. There's no doubt about it. Hey, John Wright's starting today instead of Cherilus at right tackle. And Chris Clemens, yes, he is one of the best pure pass rushers football has to offer. He has been for a few years. And like we talked about, he was a big reason the Seattle Seahawks were able to win the Super Bowl last year. He knows this system. He's worked under Gus Bradley before when Gus was a defensive coordinator with the Seahawks.
Well, this will be a 46-yard field goal attempt for Vinatieri. He's made 28 straight. Make it 29. He just keeps getting better with age. The 41-year-old on the heels of the interception by Vontae Davis. The Colts settle for 3 as they take the lead over the Jags. Well, you want to make a youngster's day. That youngster is about to celebrate his 6th birthday. He's wearing number 1, and Pat McAfee, he recognizes. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. It's as good as it gets when you're a young kid in love with the NFL.
McAfee's having a heck of a year as he boots that one in and out of the end zone. Thursday on CBS, a new discovery could expose the madness behind Sherlock Holmes' methods. Don't miss a surprising new Elementary. Thursday at 10, 9 Central, only CBS. All right, Chris, break it down here. Blake Bortles has an interception now. I mean, how does he shake this off?
Well, yeah, listen, you just got to wipe it out of your brain altogether, especially as a young quarterback. Offensive coordinator, I'm sure they'll rely on the run game here a little again and just find some ways to get easy completions.
Denard Robinson, the deep man in the I formation. He'll take the handoff, and he's wrapped up immediately by Corey Redding and taken down. Speaking of Corey Redding and the rest of the Colts defense, Ricky Jean-Francois starting today, but we are going to see Arthur Jones an awful lot in that D tackle position. Meanwhile, linebacker DeQuell Jackson, he was the leader in Cleveland. He's essentially become the leader very quickly here in Indianapolis with Mathis out. And the secondary, they are talented. You saw the interception by Vontae Davis. That is why we highlighted him. It'll be second down and 10. Bortles out of the shotgun, and he'll keep it himself. He said he likes to do this, and he's got a first down and much more. He slides at the right time in front of LaRon Landry. It's a little wrinkle right there, Chris.
Yes, well, it's certainly an aspect of the offense that a guy like Blake Bortles with his size and athleticism, he brings it to the table. You can't just totally, as a defense, disregard the D gap as you see there. You got to be disciplined. You're going to have to watch out for him because the guy, even though he's big, once he opens up, he can get going.
Let me ask you something. Were you saying slide in your head at the end there?
Exactly right, especially with Landry running after him.
On first down from the 40, the pitch to Robinson. Up to the 43. DeQuell Jackson makes the tackle. I don't know about you. I enjoyed talking to Denard Robinson yesterday. I mean, he is bought into being a running back.
He really has. He was great to talk to. And the thing that we got a big kick out of him because he talked about stories where he was a quarterback and he said, I used to point out the blitzers and now I'm responsible for blocking them. So he really got a great way about him. He's been a great addition to this offense. And yes, he is their running back going forward here for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He said he has a lot more respect for running backs from his past teams because those guys are pretty good size. On second down, Gerhardt comes in. Colts showing blitz off the play fake. Bortles to throw. And that one was in and out of the hands of Toby Gerhardt, so it'll be third down. All right, so now this was a bone of contention last week against the Patriots for the Colts, stopping them on third down.
Yes.
They were so good going into that ball game.
Yes, they were, and I'm interested to see their approach today, how they want to do it. Do you want to drop back in coverage and make Blake Bortles make decisions, or are you going to try to pressure him and make him make maybe decisions under pressure? So I'm interested to see how the Colts take care of this. We've talked about their secondary. They are a very talented group. If I'm Blake Bortles here, be careful now. You don't want to force anything. Your defense is playing well. Take care of the football.
Has to get to midfield. Trips on the right side of the offensive line. Bortles steps up. His ball is swatted away. It'll be fourth down. Jean-Francois in on the swat.
Well, there you're going to see pressure. You're going to see pressure here. But the middle linebackers up the middle, basically, and then they bring Mike Adams from the safety position. So we answered our question right there. Defensive coordinator Greg Minuski, he is going to go with pressure on Blake Bortles, it looks like, on third and long.
All right, Cripps back deep to receive. He stands inside his 10 at the 9. Brian Anger on the punt, averaging 46.1 per punt. And Cribs calls for the fair catch. So that's where the Colts will begin. They have the early lead off a 43-yard punt. Andrew Luck will go back to work.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Pizza Hut. We're taking pizza where it's never been before. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
Well, I'm sure it's reminiscent of the Franklin Lakes Pop Warner for you, Chris Sims. 3-0 Colts on top with 8:21 to play. There was a cheerleading competition yesterday here at Lucas Oil Stadium. A little Pop Warner football today. Andrew Luck goes back to work on first down from the 14.
Let me 50. Mike, two.
It's got Boom Herron in the backfield. Jack Doyle joins him as an H-back. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. Pressure coming. Throws on the run. T.Y. Hilton. He fumbles the ball out of bounds. He caught it at the 32. And it looks like they'll spot it at the 29. Josh Evans in on the coverage.
Well, what an unbelievable play by Andrew Luck. You see T.Y. Hilton, he's running basically a deep in cut, and then it was a great throw on the run by Andrew Luck, who avoided some pressure. Listen, this is why this guy, in my opinion, he's second in the NFL as far as quarterbacks on my list, only behind Aaron Rodgers. He is a phenomenal player. Andrew Luck can do it all. And you can see right there, it doesn't matter if he's on the run or in the pocket, he can pick you apart.
They're looking at T.Y. Hilton right over on the sidelines right now after that 15-yard pass play produces a first down. Moncrief in motion in the backfield. Here's Herron, and he gets across the 30 to the 31. Well, Herron's run the ball pretty hard in his first few times today.
It certainly jumps out to me, and I know we talked about it during the commercial break. When he gets the ball, he does seem to hit the hole hard.
Well, Trent Richardson and Daniel Herron, they're going to take over, even though Richardson was the starter, the responsibilities left by the injury to Ahmad Bradshaw. And what did Chuck Pagano tell us yesterday? He said, hey, listen, Daniel Herron's been waiting for this opportunity. It's time for him to take advantage of it.
It's great to see him get the opportunity. He certainly seemed excited. There's no doubt about it.
Second down at 8, off the play fake, looking to throw. To the near side for Reggie Wayne, just past his fingertips. Well, give the Jaguars defensive line some credit. They've been pressuring Andrew Luck in the early part of this game.
You said it, Tom. I mean, there's no doubt. There's Ziggy Hood, number 92, right up the middle there. But we've talked about it a little. This Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line, they are for real. You can't look at the statistics when you talk about this Jaguars defense. Their offense has put them in so many bad positions. They're a better unit on defense than people realize, and the statistics tell you.
T.Y. Hilton's back in. He's at the bottom of your screen right at the 3 and 30. Third down. The Colts need to get across the 39. Look out. Andrew Luck fumbles the ball. There's a battle for it inside the 15. The Jaguars say they have it.
Senderick Marks looks like he came out with it.
Senderick Marks does recover.
Well, this is unbelievable. Gus Bradley, they dial up some pressure. You can see Clemens runs a stunt. He's untouched. And truly, it's been pressure for Andrew Luck every time he's dropped back here early on. Hey, there's some young people on this offensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. John Rice making the start at right tackle for Godfrey Charles. So there is some communication issues obviously here. Great start, though, for the Jaguars defensive line. I'm telling you, this Jaguars defensive line, they are for real.
Well, Chris Smith is credited with the strip. He's getting congratulated over the sideline. Second turnover forced by the Jags defense. Third sack overall. And now Blake Bortles and the Jaguars will go to work. Arthur Jones in for the first time for the Colts. Hearns in motion to the far side. Pistol formation. Robinson runs right. And he gets inside the 10 to the 9. Eric Walden makes the tackle.
My big thing here, if I'm the Indianapolis Colts, I'm going to make Blake Bortles throw the football here. I'm not going to let the run game score a touchdown on me. We've seen the struggles of Blake Bortles throwing the ball, decision-making. Colts defense that's been struggling 2 out of the last 3 games. I'm not going to let the run game beat me if I'm this Colts defense. I'm going to make Blake Bortles prove to me he can do it with his arm.
He checks out the Mike linebacker on second down to Robinson again. And Robinson has stood up. Bjorn Werner was the first one there for the Colts. Doesn't look like he gained anything on the play. It'll be third down.
No, and you look at the replay here. Look at all the guys they got in the box for this defense. I mean, you got 7, 8 guys there crowding the line of scrimmage. So I do think the Colts are going to make Bortles throw it to beat them. If you're Blake Bortles here, again, defense playing well. It's a 3-0 game. Take care of the football. See it before you throw it.
They want to end drives, and this is every football team, but they want to end drives with some kind of kick.
Looks like it's going to be pressure from this Colts defense.
On third down, flags come in. A little false start, it looks like, against the Jags.
False start, offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty, it's third down.
That's the tight end, Nick Jacobs. Well, we talk about fumbles. You can't turn the ball over. You can't have these kind of penalties in crunch time inside the red zone.
And this is part of the growing process for a young offensive football team. Young offensive linemen, young receivers, of course the young quarterback. These are the growing pains that you got to go through if you're Gus Bradley, offensive coordinator, Jed Fish right now. Looks like pressure. No, they drop out.
And Bortles will throw to Gerhardt underneath, and Gerhardt is wrapped up by Freeman, and then everybody else came in and smothered him. So the Jags will have to settle for a field goal attempt. It's not the worst thing in the world to settle for a field goal attempt here.
It is not the worst thing at all. We've talked about the defense, the pressure they're applying. I thought that was a nice play call by offensive coordinator Jed Fish there. It really was. Jarrell Freeman saved what I thought may have been a touchdown right there. But nonetheless, yes, Blake Bortles, take care of that ball, rely on the defense, rely on the run game here early on in a hostile environment.
Well, Scobie will attempt a 28-yard field goal. Brian Anger is his holder. High snap, it's blocked. Does it get through? It does. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage, but it had enough on it to get through the uprights. You said in the open they needed to be a little lucky. They got a little lucky, but they've also had a tremendous effort on defense. 3 sacks, they've forced 2 turnovers. And this is what we're saying. Be a little lucky. Off the tip at the line, we're tied at 3. Thursday Night Football returns in 2 weeks. Romo and the Cowboys take on the Bears as 2 of the NFL's greatest franchises meet in prime time. Thursday Night Football returns Thursday, December 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on NFL Network. All right, you see the NFL playoff picture. Atlanta could become the second team in NFL history to qualify for the postseason, being less than 500.
It's unbelievable. You look at that NFC South right now. It's a mess. But certainly going to be interesting to see how that all plays out in the end. And, of course, you got the NFC West. I'm going to see if the Seahawks, 49ers can get in the playoffs.
Boy, Cribbs decided to take it out, and he was mashed right away. Andrew Luck back to work when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. And by TD Ameritrade.
Well, this facility opened in 2008. It's one of the best in the National Football League. It's a great home field advantage for the Colts. They haven't gotten a whole lot going offensively just yet. Andrew Luck has been sacked 3 times already. It'll be first down, and the handoff to Richardson. And Richardson trying to get to the edge is taken down by J.T. Thomas. Well, the Jags said they wanted to start quickly defensively.
They certainly have done that, and their defensive line is really what's ignited this whole team. Chris Clemens, Sinderick Marks, done unbelievable jobs for them so far. Pressuring Luck. Luck's 11 plays on offense so far. He's been sacked 3 times, 2 fumbles. It's not every day you see Andrew Luck get flustered like he is right now. There's defensive coordinator Bob Babich doing a great job, him and Gus Bradley, with this Jaguars defense.
We will say this, the Gus Bradley, Bob Babich, they could be 2 of the nicer people that you're ever going to come across in the National Football League. It's second down from the 16. Again, a running play to Richardson, and he has stood up inside the 15. Pursuit began from Telvin Smith, the rookie out of Florida State. He lost his hat. All right, give me some ideas, Chris, of what's going on right now for the Colts. Is it the offensive line? Is it just the not getting rid of the ball quick enough?
Right now it is. It's the offensive line. You look at it right now, they are physically getting dominated both in the run game and the pass game. They go through spurts like this. Listen, the run game hasn't hit all year. Pass protection, we talked about Andrew Luck getting hit through the first 3 years of his career too much, but they're going in the right direction in this offensive unit.
15 sacks coming in to this ball game. He's been sacked 3 times. On third down, he's going to run away again, and he throws that one away at the feet of Reggie Wayne. Sinderick Marks was right in his back pocket.
Sinderick Marks is an unbelievable player. I played with him in the Tennessee Titans. You could see him right here. He's going to be right here, just beat his man right up, going to get to the quarterback. Sinderick is one of the best 3-technique defensive tackles in football. D-line setting the tone for this defense. And you got to remember with this Colts offense, they got a rookie center, a rookie left guard. They got a lot of young parts on that offensive line.
McAfee on the punt. Todman back deep to receive, and McAfee just got that one off. Smith was right there. And I said it's Todman. It's Hearns or Ace Sanders, excuse me. He's taken down after a very short return. Well, Andrew Luck has been on his back A lot more than he would like here this afternoon. Get the fastest football scores and updates with the CBS Sports app, the fastest app for sports fans. Download the CBS Sports app now. We're tied at 3, 2:28 to play here in the first quarter. Blake Bortles from the 36. Robinson out of the backfield. Quick toss to the far side. It's complete. A gain up to the 43-yard line. Marquise Lee, outstanding rookie out of USC. Luchez Purifoy made the tackle for the Colts. Jags need to get across the 46 for a first down. Bortles 2 of 5 so far for 11 yards. Colts showing blitz from the far side. And the handoff to Robinson running left. And he's met right at the line of scrimmage. Jarrell Freeman.
Might be a fumble.
Ball is loose. The Colts say they have it. They do. It's picked up by DeQuell Jackson. Well, you know the Jaguars are going to look at this to see if he was down or not. Robinson was down. We mentioned he's only fumbled once this year, 5 times last year. Let's take a look. It's coming out right there. Oh, right there, that hit.
Yeah, and he doesn't have it, and no knee is on the ground, so it'll definitely stand. It was definitely a fumble.
It was Studebaker that came in and applied the hit that looked like it jarred the ball loose.
Yeah, and there it goes. And DeQuell Jackson comes up with it. That's a shame for Denard Robinson because it has been a focal point for him all offseason. Early this year, they were pleased with how he's been protecting the ball. He did have a big fumble in London against the Dallas Cowboys. It's something he's worked on. He talked about it with us. He strengthened his hands, things like that. But it's the NFL. You're going to take some hits. You're going to lose the ball every now and then.
So 2 turnovers for the Jags this afternoon. It'll be first down for the 41. Boom Herron is into the backfield with Jack Doyle. Off the play fake, Luck to throw. Clemens is there, takes him down. It's sack number 4.
Well, you're going to see Chris Clemens. Here he is right here coming off the edge. They tried to do a little play action bootleg here. Clemens too smart, been around the NFL too long to fall for it. He stays disciplined and then, of course, makes the sack. Chris Clemens is having quite the day here early on.
Well, he came in with 4 sacks. He already has a couple. It's second down. The handoff goes to Herron. A little dance step. And Herron's down to the 35. Josh Evans makes the tackle. During the preseason, the Colts saw Herron run for 112 yards on 22 carries. I know that's not always an indication, but Chuck Pagano said he kind of tucked that into the back of his head, realizing that he could possibly do that each and every Sunday.
Go.
Colts have converted just 1 third down so far. Luck to throw. Pass is complete to Fleener. He had such a good week last week, you figured the Jags would key on him, and that's his first reception.
Well, you see Fleener there in the normal tight end spot, just running really a tight end out route. Luck throws it high and outside where nobody else can get it. That's what we would have liked to see from Bortles early on. But yes, you hit on it. Fleener had really his coming out party as a receiving tight end last week against the New England Patriots. I think you're going to continue to see his role grow. And when they get Dwayne Allen back healthy, watch out, because they're going to be tough to match up with, especially when you have 2 tight ends who can do it all.
Well, they scored a field goal on the last turnover. You saw Robinson, his fumble has given the Colts a chance to get the ball into the red zone here as we finish the first quarter here in Indianapolis. Somewhat sloppy for both teams. Turnovers have been a big storyline for Luck, for Bortles. We'll return to Indianapolis after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. There are a couple of things that jump out as we begin the second quarter, but I don't know if anybody anticipated after 1 quarter that the Colts would have -2 passing yards.
I certainly wouldn't have called that, especially with the success we saw earlier in the year the Colts had against this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. But the Jaguars defensive line playing great. Secondary has really held up in the back end as well so far.
2 turnovers, one by Bortles, one by Denard Robinson. This is after the Robinson turnover. In motion is Moncrief running right. And that's what they like to do. He's an athlete. He gains 4. Telvin Smith in on the tackle and a late flag. Boy, that was a real late flag. Ed Hockley and the rest of his crew will tell us what happened.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense. Number 52. Late hit. The runner was down. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So J.T. Thomas is called for the late hit. So it'll be a first down for the Colts. And this is where Gus Bradley's red zone defense is really going to be pressured.
Yeah, their red zone defense has been very good all year. And that's because of their front four. It allows them not to crowd the line of scrimmage, to stop the run, and then they can play zone defense behind it. When you have 7 guys dropping in coverage in the red zone, tough to throw the football.
Reggie Wayne in motion, I formation. Here's Herron running hard. And he didn't get much at all. He may have gotten a yard. The ball came loose, but they're going to say he was down. A little different than Denard Robinson in his pileup. The whistle never blew. Here, the whistle blew. Yeah, it looked like his arm was... Well, I don't know if his arm was down or not, Chris.
It was close. I got to see another angle, really.
His hand is down.
Oh,
that
wow.
Ball's out.
It's out. And here comes the challenge flag from Gus Bradley.
Yep, Gus Bradley will throw it down. I think if they look at the replay that we have, that was a turnover. His forearm was not down. If his forearm was down, then he would have been considered down. So Gus Bradley is conferring with Ed Hockley.
And we're gonna have to see who recovered it.
Ruling on the field that the runner was down by contact.
So they'll take a look at this play. We'll give you the results when we return to Indianapolis. Well, back here at Indianapolis, Ed Hockley has the headphones off. He's conferred with the folks in New York. Tom Sifferman is the replay official here in Indianapolis. And here's the decision.
The runner fumbled the ball before his knee touched down. Therefore, it was a fumble. It was a clear recovery by Jacksonville. Therefore, it's Jacksonville's ball on the 7-yard line. First down. Please reset the clock to 14:33. 14:33 on the clock. There are no timeouts charged.
Mike Carey, our officiating expert. Mike, we were just saying that the forearm never went down, just the hand went down before the ball came loose.
That's correct, and you're looking for a body part other than the hand or the foot. The wrist counts as the hand, even though that didn't hit. So we have a clear fumble. And on the clear recovery, you don't see the ball, but in that case you can see that there are no Indianapolis Colts in that pile, so that deems it to be a clear recovery. So great review and replay, and a nice way to correct it on the field.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again as the day moves on. It's the 5th turnover overall in this ball game. Denard Robinson running left gets close to the 10. Boy, I thought Mike explained it really well. I thought Ed Hockley explained it really well. I think all of that has paid off replay here in 2014.
Yes, it definitely has. It's, of course, great to have a guy like Mike there to set us all straight and get us all on the right page as far as rules go. Big play here, though, backed up for Jacksonville. Be careful if you're Blake Bortles.
Second down and 7. And Robinson gets about a yard shy of the first down. Bjorn Werner makes the tackle for the Colts.
Great call by Jed Fish there. Keeps them in 3rd and manageable here. Takes pressure off of Blake Bortles, knowing he doesn't have to pump the ball down the field to get the first down here. You see Jed Fish there. Yeah, he's got his hands full with a lot of young players. He's doing a great job of orchestrating not only the offense, but the minds of these young guys.
Now, he looks young, but yesterday when we talked to him, he said, it's great. I love it. There's energy. I love being around these young guys. Well, these young guys are facing a 3rd down and short. The pitch to Robinson. He thought about throwing. Now he tucks it, dives forward, and he's got a first down. DeQuell Jackson makes the tackle. It wouldn't surprise anybody if they had a little trick play here this afternoon.
No, it wouldn't, and I know we talked about it. I said yesterday to you, Tom, I said, when are we going to see this Denard Robinson throw a football? And I had a feeling after a bye week it might happen today. We didn't get weren't told that by the Jaguars coaches, but that was certainly a halfback pass. He made the right decision to tuck it down and run the football.
So first down for the Jags as they convert the third down opportunity. And here's Robinson up across the 25 to the 27, a gain of 9. Josh Gordy makes the tackle.
Those are two big first downs for this two big plays for this Jacksonville offense. Getting the first down, just getting them out of their own end zone, letting their defense have a little breather on the sideline.
And quickly, Bortles will keep it himself, and he slides forward for a first down. We asked him about the read option, the zone read, whether he liked it or not. He said, well, I don't like getting hit, but I do like having it as part of the package.
Yes, it's great to have as part of the package. It makes life for the offense and Blake Bortles easier right now. Hey, let's be honest. Blake Bortles, he's not hitting on all cylinders as far as the pass game goes. They need the read option as part of their offense right now to be successful.
All right, this drive, you see 5 run plays. They thought about throwing it one time, and Robinson tucked it. Gerhardt's in the I formation. I'll talk about a power formation. And Gerhardt is wrapped up from behind. Montori Hughes with the tackle. Tomorrow on CBS, there's a mole inside NCIS Los Angeles, and no one is safe. A can't-miss new NCIS Los Angeles tomorrow at 10/9 Central, only CBS. So a loss of 1. He's second down at 11 from the 28. Gerhardt remains in, so Robinson's getting a breather. Cecil Shorts comes to the near side. He's out there with Alan Hearns. We haven't called Cecil Shorts' name at all. They'll run again for Gerhardt. Gerhardt running hard. He's got some daylight. And he's inside Indianapolis territory. Well, they said this week he was running as good as they have seen because that foot injury is healed.
Well, it's really just a little outside zone running scheme here. And Gerhardt got great vision. It was blocked well. And this is an ongoing theme for this Colts defense, as we've seen going from last Sunday night against the Patriots. Middle of the defense been exposed a little bit in the running game as of late.
Gain of 23. It'll be first down. The handoff to Gerhardt again. Gain of 1. Second down and 9. An update of Detroit and New England. Let's head to New York.
Blunt paying immediate dividends.
Oh, yes. After 81 kickoff return by Danny Amendola, Blunt capped it off with a 3-yard run of his own, signed early this week. Pats up 14-6.
Back to Tom and Chris.
All right, JB. Well, we figured Blunt was going to get involved almost immediately in Bill Belichick's offense, and there you go.
He's perfect for the short area red zone running the football. He's big and powerful.
Robinson back in. It's second down. He'll come out of the backfield. The ball is swatted away. Montori Hughes got his big paws up there.
Montori Hughes, they send a little cross blitz by the middle linebackers. Jarrell Freeman up the middle, not even touched as far as pass protection goes. Good job by Blake Bortles just getting the ball out of his hands right there and not taking the sack.
Well, we talked about third downs, how good the Colts were prior to the Patriots game. They're facing a third down here defensively. Be surprised if Bortles rolls out a little bit, rolls the pocket a little bit here?
Wouldn't be surprised to see him give him a little run-pass option, no doubt about it.
On third down, his pass to the left to Todman is complete, but he's not going to get the first down. Vontae Davis cleaned it up. It'll be fourth down for the Jags. Bortles is still out there. What do you think, Chris?
Well, they're going to bring out the punt team now, but you are in the area of the field where you say, we can't kick a field goal from here. Do we really gain a lot by punting the football? But if I'm Jacksonville here, I punt the ball all the way. Your defense is kicking butt right now. Pin the Colts down. Make the Colts offense prove it to you. They can drive the length of the field on this Jaguars defense.
And a timeout called by Indianapolis. With 9:12 to play here in the first quarter. Well, this has been a sloppy game, to say the least the first 21 minutes of it. 5 turnovers overall. Here we go, Chris, run through them.
Well, hey, there's Chris Clemens with a strip sack. He's been all over the place as of today. Bad throw by Blake Bortles. Vontae Davis interception. More pressure on Andrew Luck. There's the Denard Robinson fumble. We're going to be followed that with Boom Herron with the fumble inside the 10-yard line right there. Offensive coordinators are rolling over in their graves all over the country right now. Not been real successful offensive output right now.
Yeah, you see 5 turnovers overall, 2 for the Jags, as Anger will let this one go. Cribbs calls for the fair catch at the 9. And that's where the Colts will start once again offensively. We're all tied up at 3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new LG G3, the world's first smartphone with laser autofocus. K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And by the all-new 2015 Honda Fit. The new Fit is a great fit for you.
All along. He's a good athlete, quick release.
Well, back here at Indianapolis, we're tied at 3. 5 turnovers combined. The Colts backed up against it with a first down from the 10. Trent Richardson in the offset I formation. See Jack Doyle dancing a little bit in the backfield as the H-back. Luck looking to throw. Passes complete to Fleener. Second reception of the day. And Fleener up to the 23. Now that's a safe pass right there for Andrew Luck. Pep Hamilton trying to figure out how to make things a little easier, because look at the last 4 possessions. I mean, coming into this game, they had 723 plays, 6 fumbles. Today, they have 20 plays and 3 fumbles.
But they're one of the best offenses in the NFL. They're not used to struggling like this. I do think they'll get it straight here.
Luck looking to throw, has time, has Fleener again. A flag comes in late. Fleener's hit by Demetrius McCray after the catch. Well, he had time.
Holding, offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
As you say, he had time, so it might be holding, and that's what it was against Hugh Thornton.
Well, you see Hugh Thornton right there. Well, and then here goes Colby Fleener coming across. Be careful. It was cover 2 there, so that corner was just baiting Andrew Luck. He had no coverage down the field. He can just read the quarterback's eyes. There's the holding on Tyson Alualu. But this offensive line right now, they got their hands full with this Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line. Not protecting very well, not moving people in the running game either.
That moves the ball back inside the 15. First down and 20. Luck pass play to Reggie Wayne, and Wayne out of bounds. Telvin Smith shuttled him out of bounds. Boy, Reggie Wayne has just been so good for so many years.
And you'll see Reggie Wayne come from the left of your screen. There he is. Telvin Smith, this is a guy we need to talk about because he's a rookie who's done a lot of great things, especially in pass coverage. He's small at 6'3", 218 pounds, but you need a nickel linebacker that can cover this day and age in the passing NFL.
Yeah, DeQuell Jackson told us that yesterday in our meetings. He said since he came into the league, the linebacking position has changed. Luck under pressure again, gets away, and Luck's got some daylight. He doesn't do this that often, but he's able to get some big yards to the 42.
Well, this is the danger of playing a lot of man-to-man against Andrew Luck. When you play man-to-man, when you play man-to-man, there you see Luck in the pocket. You're going to see this is it's going to straight man-to-man across the board. Look at everybody's looking at the receivers. There's nobody for Andrew Luck. So once the pass rush lanes break down by the defensive line, you said it, he's big, but the guy ran 4.5 in the combine, so he can run.
First down to the 42. That's his only carry of the day. Richardson in the backfield will take the handoff, and Richardson is nailed right after he got past the line of scrimmage. The combination of Telvin Smith and J.T. Thomas make the tackle.
Yes, Gus Bradley, the one thing I find interesting about this defense, he's framing it, of course, from his Seattle Seahawks days. He's getting these great defensive linemen with young athletic linebackers. Their defense is really heading in the right direction. I like what Gus Bradley is doing there and the accumulation of talent.
And big cornerbacks, too, like Demetrius McCray, who's 6'2". Andrew Luck to throw. Passes complete to Moncrief to midfield, 2 yards shy of a first down. Thomas and Smith again in on the tackle. Don't forget the Jaguars are playing without Paul Posluszny, who's out with a torn pectoral muscle. And asked Gus Bradley yesterday if he was going to be here in Indianapolis. He said no. I said, is he at practice? He said, oh yeah, he's at practice. He's basically becoming an extra coach for these young linebackers.
That's great to have a guy like that in your organization that's going to be there, invested in the team, whether he's playing or not. And yeah, they are young at linebacker. They need all the help they can get.
On third down, Richardson has a first down. Split the seam inside the 40 to the 39. Well, that would be a spot where Paul Puzlesny would be, and this is Derek Marks' quote about Puz. Puz is the guy that gels our defense together. Losing him is huge, but Puz will step in. Any question a guy has to ask, Puz will be there to answer it. It's good to have that. Somebody to lean on, as you mentioned, Chris. 7th play of this drive, 4th run play of this drive. Red Bryant in on the tackle. Well, here's the injury to Paul Puzlesny. Tore the pectoral muscles, we said, in his right shoulder on this play, week 7 against Cleveland. Oh, man, you see the reaction almost immediately.
It's a shame. Sticking that arm out, trying to make the tackle. You see, it's an injury that happens a lot all throughout the NFL with linebackers and defensive tackles trying to make one-arm tackles. A lot of the time is when it goes.
Put on injured reserve, out for the year. Luck to throw on second down. The ball swatted away again. He picks it up off the turf, and he's taken down. Another sack.
Ryan Davis off the edge right there, who's been a pleasant surprise for them. He's a second-year guy out of Bethune-Cookman, but a guy that when I watch film, I keep going, who's this number 59? He kind of pops coming off the edge of the defense. Great job by him. Again, getting pressure on the edge right now with this Jacksonville Jaguars team on Anthony Costanzo is impressive because he's been the steady point for this offensive line if there has been one.
Thank goodness for the artificial turf. If this was natural grass, that ball would not have bounced right up to Andrew Luck. On third down, Luck to throw, pressure coming, steps up, avoids Clemens, throws toward the end zone, and he overthrew Reggie Wayne. It'll be 4th down.
Well, pressure is the theme right now.
Sure is.
It threw Luck off his timing and rhythm there. Again, they had some people, at least he had Reggie Wayne open down the field, but he got pressure off the edge. He had a reset, and by the time he resets the throw, coverage downfield had regained their coverage on Reggie Wayne.
Pat McAfee on to punt the ball away. Ace Sanders back deep to receive. A flag comes in, and the ball is recovered at the 1-yard line. Lou Purifoy was down there in the coverage, but this is probably going to be a first down for the Colts. Ed Hockley
running into the kicker. Defense number 56. It's a 5-yard penalty only. It is declined.
I thought it was the right call.
First down.
Yeah, he didn't run into the base leg, the plant leg. Otherwise, it would have been a first down. You're right, it was a good call.
It was. He did not come in there too aggressively. We'll be back in a minute from commercials here in Indianapolis.
Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores, highlights, and first-half analysis. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Tough spot for Blake Bortles. First down from his 1. In a 3-3 game, 4 minutes to play here in the first half. Out of the backfield is Robinson. And Robinson steps inside. He didn't go out of bounds. And he gets up close to the 20. Boy, that's a big play to give at least a little freedom to Blake Bortles.
Really big play. Really good play call by offensive coordinator Jed Fish. Simple concept. The Indianapolis Colts, they were not going to let the run game beat them right there. You had to go to the pass game. Bortles makes a nice throw and lets Denard Robinson run after the catch.
That's a part of the game that Robinson said he worked on an awful lot during the offseason. Catching the ball at the backfield. That ball was hit, and it's incomplete. Intended for Hearns. I don't know if the ball was hit or if Bortles was just hit, but it was a quail out into the open fields.
It definitely was. It looked like Ricky Jean-Francois got in there and kind of hit Bortles right as he was throwing the football. That's what made it wobble and inaccurate.
There's Ricky Jean-Francois, the 6th-year pro out of LSU. Second down from the 20. Colts showing blitz from the near side. And Robinson, not much at all. Read very well by Bjorn Werner and LaRon Landry. Both were there. It'll be third down and long.
At some point, though, this Jacksonville Jaguars offense, they are going to have to open up as we go on here. Indianapolis is continuing to crowd the line of scrimmage. They are just begging or daring the Jacksonville Jaguars offense to throw the football. This is what happens when you become a run-first team on first and second down. Sometimes you get stuck in third and long situations. Hard for a young quarterback.
Todman is in the backfield for the Jaguars. 3 receivers, 2 to the bottom, 1 to the top. Bortles to throw. Slant is incomplete. Off the fingertips of Hearns. And the Jags will be forced to punt the ball away. Butler in on the coverage. Chuck Pagano liked that defense after that big run by Denard Robinson.
I think a lot of people look at this Colts defense and go, well, how can the secondary be good if they're letting up all these pass yards? Well, the secondary hasn't been responsible for a lot of the pass yards. I would say sometimes it's been safeties, it's been linebackers underneath, but the one constant for the Colts, the corners have played very well.
And flags come in.
False start, offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty, it's 4th down.
Ed Hockley in his 23rd year as a referee in the National Football League, his 25th year overall.
You know, you get back to that Colts defense. There's no great pass rusher out there. Greg Manusky at times, then his hand is forced to send pressure. And to do that, he has to do that to create, of course, pressure on the quarterback. That puts more pressure on his corners who have handled it very well.
Josh Cribbs back deep to receive. He's going to get a chance to return this one if he chooses. He will from the 36. Oh, and he is nailed at the 46-yard line. Excellent special teams by the Jaguars, but very good field position for the Colts when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Week 12 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox. Then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN, the Ravens and the Saints. But don't forget also the Jets and the Bills from Ford Field in Detroit. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can check your local listings for whether the game is on in your area. Along with Chris Sims, I'm Tom McCarthy. 2:31 to play here in the first half. Not a whole lot of offense here this afternoon in Indianapolis. We're tied at 3. 5 turnovers combined. Luck begins this drive with a quick pass on a dump off to Boom Herron, and he's inside Jaguars territory. 14-yard gain, and boy, was that a burst.
Wow, is it a burst? You're right. Great decision by Andrew Luck there, too, not to force anything down the field. And then you see it. Boom Herron can go when he gets the ball in his hands. There is a difference in explosion, in my eye, between him and Trent Richardson.
There are Buckeye fans everywhere saying, I told you you could do it. On first down, on the doorstep of the 2-minute warning, Fleener misses that one as it's thrown behind him. So we have reached the 2-minute warning here in Indianapolis. Tied up at 3. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowler for all the latest NFL scores, highlights, and first half analysis. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Today's game has been basically about defense, but don't remember, though, Indianapolis, within 2 minutes, one of the best in scoring, either the first half or second half.
Well, the one thing that jumps out to me right there is you got 5 teams with 5 real good quarterbacks. So, of course, that always helps in the 2-minute drill.
Second down from just outside the 40 for Luck. Pocket breaks, dumps it off to Herron, and he runs into one of the officials and Telvin Smith.
Telvin Smith, another guy that is just jumping out all over the field here today. You see the skills in coverage. To me, he's one of the better coverage linebackers you'll see right now in the NFL. He can really run. He's almost like having an extra strong safety. He's like having a Cam Chancellor who Gus Bradley have in Seattle, except he wears a linebacker number.
Do you agree with what they said, that the linebacker position has changed where you do need to be able to do that more often?
Definitely. The days of the big, strong, physical linebacker, they are numbered. You got to gear your linebackers more towards the pass game this day and age.
Hilton's in motion. He's been quiet in this first half. On third down, here comes some more flags. A little movement from the Colts.
False start, offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, It's third down.
That is the very talented Jonathan Harrison, the rookie out of Florida, who took over the starting duties several weeks ago from A.Q. Shipley.
Well, you see Jonathan Harrison right there. It's not every day you see the center jump off, but they're going to act like they're going to blitz up the A-gap, and he gets a little antsy and leans back on those heels right there.
Andrew Luck spoke in glowing terms when we met with him a couple days ago about Jonathan Harrison and just how he makes a mistake, but he won't make it a second time. Said for a rookie, that's huge. On third down, Luck looking to throw. Clemens is coming. He steps up in the pocket, throws it to the far side. T.Y. Hilton has it inside the 20. Well, we said he's been quiet. He's quiet no more.
Really all I could say there is what an unbelievable throw by Andrew Luck, because pressure in the pocket, steps up, the coverage is not that bad, and to drop it in right there over Aaron Colvin. Unbelievable throw for the Colts. Now gives them a chance to maybe score 6 at some point in this drive. If you're the Colts, the Jaguars defense, just hold them to 3 right now. That's your goal.
26-yard gain. It's only the second time today they've had a gain of 20 yards or more. T.Y. Hilton also over 1,000 yards receiving. Now on first down, Luck's going to run for the second time today. Out of bounds, untouched. Well, T.Y. Hilton has had a very busy 24 hours with his receptions today. He's now over 1,000 yards for the second time in his career. He is an evolving superstar at the wide receiver position.
He certainly is, and he's one of these guys you look around the NFL right now, him, Antonio Brown, Golden Tate, these smaller type receivers who can do it all. They can play the slot. They can also win outside with their speed. T.Y. Hilton, definitely one of the best young receivers the NFL has to offer right now.
His wife, Chantrell, gave birth to Gigi early this morning. Third child for the 3. Here's Boom Herron right up the gut, inside the 10. Still moving his feet, and the whistle finally blows as he gets close to the first down marker.
Colts got a timeout, I think.
Yep.
Looks like it.
So with 51 seconds to play, the Colts are on the doorstep with a timeout. With NFL Mobile, stream live local Sunday afternoon primetime games and NFL Red Zone right on your smartphone. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile. Hello, Chris Sims. I'm Tom McCarthy. It's first and goal for the Colts. 51 seconds to play here in the first half. They're explosive at this point in the game. Blake Bortles knows that, watching on the sidelines. What do they do here?
This is not an easy team. Jacksonville, one of the best red zone defenses in football. I think a lot of people will be surprised to hear that, really, because when they do let up touchdowns, they're usually big plays. I think you go zone, maybe inside draw here. I don't think you're going to find one-on-one matchups in the pass game.
All 3 tight ends are in for the Colts, including Wesley Saunders for the first time. Luck dumps it off to Herron, and Herron nearly ran into the line judge for a second time. Geno Hayes makes the tackle. That's second and goal.
That's what you got to do, though, because Jacksonville does not play a lot of man-to-man. They drop a lot of people into coverage.
One timeout left for the Colts. 33 and counting left to play in this first half. Second and goal from the 2. Luck looking left, pumps left. Clemens is on his heels. He throws incomplete off the fingertips of Reggie Wayne, and it was nearly intercepted off the deflection.
Wow. Well, Luck, he looked to run here, and then the pocket kind of collapsed on him. He throws the ball a little high to Reggie Wayne, and Demetrius McCray, who's really been their star corner of this Jacksonville defense, almost gets the INT.
Second-year pro out of Appalachian State. Gus Bradley says, I see him playing with a lot more confidence now. The next step is getting interceptions. T.Y. Hilton back in. All 3 tight ends again in. They're all on the far side, although Doyle's now in motion. On third and goal, kind of a high snap, quick toss, and it's incomplete, intended for Doyle. Well, you want to talk about coverage. He was sandwiched.
That's what makes them so tough down here, this Jacksonville Jaguar defense. Their front 4, they let them rush, and you have 7 guys in coverage in a short field like that. You could see it right there, everybody at home. The windows are tight, and they have athletic linebackers, Geno Hayes, J.T. Thomas, the third there, do a very good job of reading and reacting to Andrew Luck's eyes.
Vinatieri has made 29 consecutive field goals. This is a chip shot, just a 20-yard field goal. McAfee is the holder. Good snap, good hold, and the Colts have the lead with 12 seconds to play here in the first half. You know, we wondered the last time the Colts went a half without scoring a touchdown here at Lucas Oil Stadium. It wasn't too long ago, the first week of the month of October against the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow. Well, the Baltimore Ravens, that's a good defense, too. A similar scheme a little bit to what Jacksonville runs. A lot of zone coverages, good front four that they can just rush the four and let people drop back into coverage to stop luck.
Thanksgiving Day, right next to the turkey and stuffing and pumpkin pie, there's the Bears and the Lions in a Motown throwdown. It all begins with JV, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer on a special holiday edition of the NFL Today at noon Eastern here on CBS. Chris, your Thanksgiving is very different than a lot of ours. As you see the standings, it's the 11th time the Bears and the Lions will meet on Thanksgiving Day, but your dad will be in Detroit calling that game. So what does the Sims family do when Dad's away?
When Dad does the Detroit game, which is the the early game on Thanksgiving, we usually wait for him to get home and have a little later of a Thanksgiving dinner. When he's in Dallas, of course, in those weeks we can't do it. But hey, we're a football family. It's all a question of how much football I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch everything. It's really a question of how much food I'm going to shove down my throat all day.
Is there any food left when he gets home? Todd been back deep to receive. It's over his head and out of the end zone. The Jaguars, 12 seconds left. Here comes a flag late, very late. In fact, the Colts defense was already getting out on the field when the flag was thrown in. Well, I think whatever flag this is, you're going to have to term this a silly flag on someone. And it was a heck of a toss, too, from the official.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the kicking team, number 57. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the 20 to the 35-yard line, first down.
Well, the Army product, Josh McNary, called for the personal foul. I would still think Bortles is going to take a knee here.
Yes, I would fully expect that. 12 seconds, really nothing can happen here. Go in, be happy with the fact that you're down 6-3. You haven't played well on offense, but your defense is doing really well, and you get the ball in the second half.
Well, it'll be first down from the 35, and he does just take a knee, and that will be the end of the first half. So not a lot of scoring. There were a lot of turnovers in the first half here in Indianapolis. The end of the first half, it's 6-3 Colts. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, the first half has been a lot about missed opportunities. The Colts have been in the red zone 2 different times. They have 6 points, 2 field goals. Andrew Luck has been pressured over time and time again. It's incredible. That seems to be the storyline. Turnovers and also the Jags' pressure on Andrew Luck.
Yes, I think you hit the head on the nail there. I mean, you look at this Jaguars defense right now. Their front four is the difference in this game, or at least keeping them in the game. They are able to pressure Andrew Luck all by themselves. That lets them keep people in the back end to stop T.Y. Hilton, Reggie Wayne. But they've done a phenomenal job. Gus Bradley really orchestrating this defense very nicely right now.
All right, let's take a look at the halftime stats for both teams. You look at the passing yards for the Colts, just 73, 148 total yards. Meanwhile, for the Jags, well, they have 34 passing yards. He's only thrown the ball 10 times in this first half.
Yes, at some point they are going to have to push the ball down the field with Blake Bortles and these receivers here. You could see the Colts, they're crowding the line of scrimmage. They're not going to let the run game beat them. And if you want to run the ball and you're Jacksonville and you want to at least give Blake Bortles some high percentage completions, you got to at least scare the defense vertically down the field to back them off.
All right, Andrew Luck has been on his back an awful lot. Give Chris Clemens a whole lot of credit because he has been in his back pocket most of the first half.
Yes, Chris Clemens is showing what he did in Seattle last year, but he has been all over the place, just disruptive. Even when he hasn't gotten sacked, he's made Andrew Luck unsettled in the pocket, and then, of course, that makes Luck make some inaccurate throws down the field. I'll be interested to see the Colts' offensive plan of attack going into the second half, what they're going to do to help him out with the pressure.
Well, you've had a lifetime of adjustments as a quarterback, whether it be in college or in the National Football League. it's not a lot of time that you have to make these adjustments when you come out of the halftime locker room.
No, the NFL, the halftime, by the time you get in there, you drink some water, you sit down for a second, your coach gives you one little coaching point, and it's time to go back out. But Andrew Luck, very smart. Pep Hamilton, of course, a great offensive mind. They'll have the right plan of attack to get the ball moving again here for Indianapolis.
All right, the first shot of the second half will go to Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We mentioned Bortles has only threw the ball 10 times in the first half, 4 of 10 for 34 yards and 1 interception. Denard Robinson has been his primary runner in the backfield with 11 carries and 26 yards. Cecil Shorts has not been involved in the offense at all so far today. He's in the slot right now for the Jags. But with all that said, it's only a 6-3 ball game as we begin the second half. High formation. Off the play fake, pressure coming. Bortles dumps it off. He has Lewis, and it was read very well by the Colts defense. Eric Walden was there flanking him. But that's something they need to do, is get Lewis involved.
They got to get Lewis involved. Yes, that's always a great thing for a rookie quarterback to have the big tight end, because he's such a fail-safe for a quarterback. They're usually big. If they're covered, you could still throw it to him. But also you got to remember, he's not comfortable with Mercedes Lewis as well. But again, the big thing to me, the Colts are crowding the line of scrimmage. They got to push the ball down the field. When I say they, the Jacksonville offense, just to back the Colts off a little bit.
Shorts and Hearns are in the bottom of your screen as receivers. Here comes the blitz. Bortles fumbles the ball and falls on top of it. Down to the 9-yard line. There is a flag down.
But it looks like Bortles just drops the ball here as he's kind of shuffling it in his hands. He did. Good job recovering it. And there is a penalty on the flag where the referees right now are having a little conference.
They're talking to the 15.
There was
Here's
no
Ed
foul
Hocula.
on the play. The quarterback lost the ball right away and went down. It's third down.
Well, you know, when we met with the Jaguars, they talked about the decision to play Blake Bortles. At the beginning of the year, they said, do we start a rookie center and a rookie quarterback, or a rookie center and a veteran quarterback, or a veteran center and a rookie quarterback? Well, they decided to go with Bowenko, who's a rookie, and Chad Henne, who's the veteran, and then adjusted the last time these two teams faced each other. There wasn't anything about the snap there. That was just Bortles dropping the ball. On third down and 20. Backed up. Dumps it off. Incomplete. Todman was his intended receiver, but the pass was a little low. Freeman was in on the coverage. And by the way, Bortles is getting crushed on some of these.
He is. You're going to see Eric Walden here. There he comes right there. Nice little head plant to the Blake Bortles chest there. But not the start you're looking for if you're Gus Bradley and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bortles just dropping the ball there. Really put them behind the 8 ball. Not a lot of plays in the offensive playbook for 4th and 20.
Fourth punt of the day. Krebs will return it inside Jacksonville territory, and he is spun around inside the 40. Toby Gerhart makes the tackle. Andrew Luck coming onto the field. His first possession of the second half. 13:39 to play here in the third quarter.
You know, I wanted to ask you, did I say nail on the head or head on the nail before? I think I messed that phrase up.
You said nail on the head,
right?
But I think most of the folks at home said, I know what he's talking about.
You know, I'm a rookie up here in the booth too, like Blake Bortles, so everybody's got to be a little patient with me. Every now and then I drop the snap.
Well, there is Chad Henne talking with Jed Fish, the offense coordinator, and Bortles is right there behind them. First down from the 38. Luck out of the shotgun. Herron starts the second half as the running back. He'll take the handoff, runs over the block of his right guard down to the 35. Quick gain of 3. Ziggy Hood with the tackle.
The discouraging thing there sometimes for this Indianapolis Colts defense, they can't run the ball in good run looks. Jacksonville, 2 deep safeties there. The number advantage is there for the Indianapolis Colts offense. Still unable to run the football. Been an ongoing theme all year for them.
Same formation on second down. Luck to throw to his left. Pass complete to his left to Moncrief. And he's about a yard shy of the first down. Demetrius McCray in on the tackle.
Well, there's Dante Moncrief up top, a rookie from Ole Miss. This guy is a guy I really like. He's very talented. He is one of the future weapons going forward for Andrew Luck in this Colts offense. And then you saw there, of course, he's covered by Demetrius McCray, who Gus Bradley made the comparison. He's kind of like our Richard Sherman as far as body type, the length, the ability to jam at the line of scrimmage. I know he's not Richard Sherman quite yet, but he does have some of the skill set.
3rd down and 1. Richardson checks in. He'll watch his Luck will keep it and run to his left for a 1st down. So a lot of other teams are doing this whole read option thing. Andrew Luck decides, I'm going to do it a little bit too.
It could be something that helps this offense out in the running game. You start making defenses prepare for the quarterback to keep the ball around the edge. It can open up some of the zone schemes that an offense tries to run. Certainly it'll keep that backside defense and linebacker. It's going to keep him honest, knowing now that Andrew Luck might keep the ball every now and then.
On 1st down from the 28. Mentioned in the first half they were in the red zone twice, but they did not come away with a touchdown. Not quite there yet. Luck avoiding the pressure, and he'll toss it toward the middle, incomplete. Intended for Moncrief, and here comes a flag. I don't know where Demetrius McCray got his hand on Moncrief, but the officials saw something. And there's also a flag in the backfield near Andrew Luck. So there's 2 different flags.
There were 2 fouls by the defense on the play. Holding, number 35, that's declined. There was also illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 79. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. An automatic 1st down.
So Red Bryant called for the illegal hands to the face. You know, we're deep into this season. At the beginning of the year, it was a point of emphasis, the illegal hands to the face. Obviously, it still is. We've seen a lot more of those calls as this football season's moved on.
Yeah, well, it's so hard to play in the secondary in the NFL this day and age with all the rules. It sometimes looks like if you just blow on a guy, they might throw the flag. And that's why we see some of the inflated numbers by quarterbacks and passing offenses this day and age. But Demetrius McCray, he doesn't care. He's going to play aggressively at the line of scrimmage, play in and play out. That's what Gus Bradley wants. And sometimes that's just the price of doing business when you play that style at corner.
So 1st down for the Colts from the 22. Their first possession of the 2nd half. T.Y. Hilton in motion. Quick pitch to Harrod. He fumbles the ball. It looks like the Colts fell on top of it.
Looked like Hugh Thornton might have got on it from the right guard position to save the day for the Colts offense.
Very fortunate because there were a few Jaguars in that area. They'll peel the pile back. All right, Chris, give us some insight. What's it like inside that pile there with everybody on top of you?
Well, there's, of course, I was always the weak man in those piles. So there's a lot of big, strong guys grabbing at that ball. No doubt about it. It can change hands a few times when it's down there in a pile.
Boy, the Jaguars are saying they have it. They're not objective in this whole thing. Now the Colts are saying they have it. And the officials are just trying to get the pile off. It was Thornton that fell on top of it, but the Jaguars come out with it. Cyprian came out of the pile. I still think this is Colts ball.
After we had blown it dead and ruled it was blown ball, the ball was released at that point. It is Blues ball, Indianapolis ball.
It's as if we're playing a rec basketball game. Blue, white.
White. Well, again, it's Chris Clemens. Look at Chris Clemens. He disrupts the play.
You can faintly hear the whistle in the background, and Thornton does have it wrapped up.
Yes. Nice heads-up play by Thornton. And Chris Clemens, again, just continuing to be disruptive in both the pass and run game.
On 2nd down, Luck has time, wobbles one, complete to Hakeem Nicks. And Nicks very close to a 1st down for the Colts. Josh Evans in on the stop.
Well, Luck was looking downfield to T.Y. Hilton, who did a double move on Demetrius McCray. The coverage was pretty good. Nice decision and nice throw by him to find Hakeem Nicks.
It'll be 3rd down and a little less than a yard for the Colts. Gain of 16 on that pass play to the veteran Nicks. Colts right at 50% on third down opportunities, but it hasn't helped them at all. This will be a quarterback keeper by Andrew Luck. Well, he made that adjustment right at the line, didn't he?
A great job. That's what a smart quarterback does. You're in a third and short situation like that. If you see a defense is not protecting those center guard gaps, you'll see it. Look at the gaps right there. There's no one there to stop it. So Andrew Luck, being the smart, strong, big player he is, he gets up there, snaps the ball, and pushes forward for the first down.
So first and goal from the 10. Under 10 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Herron, well, he's nailed by Telvin Smith. The ball came loose, and then the whistle from the officials, but they'll say he's down after a 2-yard gain.
Can't say enough about Telvin Smith. If there was one area to be critical of him coming out in the draft out of Florida State, it would have been the run game, because he is a little slight of size at 218 pounds. But in the NFL, he's certainly looking the part and very aggressive against the run.
Luck to throw on second and goal. Clemens comes hopping into the area. They dump it off to Doyle, and Doyle is spun right near the goal line. He'll be shy of the goal line by a little less than a yard. Jonathan Cyprien with a little pinwheel.
Well, Luck had a lot of time there. Nothing was open. It was a good job by him, just finding a completion. It's funny, he got hit by Sinderick Marks. Sinderick Marks told us yesterday, sometimes it makes you mad when you hit Luck, because you hit him, he's on the ground, and he tells you, hey, good hit. And he goes, that really makes me mad when he tells me that.
And he uses his first name. Good hit, Sinderick.
Yes, exactly.
Xavier Nixon is in as an eligible receiver. He's the fullback. Third and goal. Richardson leans forward. Touchdown, Colts. Only his third touchdown of the year. It's the first one of the day. And the Colts on top 12-3.
Well, this is an area I certainly think Trent Richardson should be able to help this Colts offense. He's big, he's powerful, he should be a good goal line runner. When they get down in this area of the field, he could punch it in.
Point after by Vinatieri is good, so it's 13-3. Hey, how about a lead block from Andrew Jackson, the inside linebacker, his fullback, and a little celebration from Trent Richardson. 9 plays, 38 yards. Trent Richardson behind the block of Andrew Jackson. Gives the Colts the lead by 10. Todman will let this one go over his head. And now the Jaguars will begin from their 20. Let's see if Blake Bortles can get something rolling offensively.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. C. Ellis. And by Kelley Blue Book. Find out what you should pay for your next new car at kbb.com.
Well, you saw the roof is closed here in Indianapolis. It's actually quite warm outside. Temperatures are in the 50s, but there is a threat of rain, which is why the roof is closed. It's 13-3, Indianapolis on top. Here's Denard Robinson, and Denard meet Bjorn Werner. The second-year pro out of Florida State was right there.
Well, Bjorn Werner, he's becoming a better and better NFL player. You're seeing him right here on the edge. Does a great job of setting the edge, is what you would call this in the run game. Not letting the run game get outside of him. He makes the tackle, or at least let the running back force him back inside to where your help is.
What did Greg Mineski tell us the other day, the defense coordinator? This is a game to get him over the hurdle. Bjorn Werner, as he continues to evolve. He's lined up on the far side. Again, a handoff goes to Robinson running left, and Robinson gets to the 21. LaRon Landry makes the tackle. So basically the same play. He did get positive yards, but now you're faced a third down and long if you're the Jags.
Right, that's the risk you take by running the ball on first and second down. Of course, you're worried about Blake Bortles and his throwing and his decisions, but in the same time, here you are putting him in a very tough position against a defense that can do a lot of different things on the back end. I expect to see pressure here from this Colts defense.
It's Todman in the backfield instead of Robinson or Gerhardt. 4 receivers. As you see the Colts shifting around defensively. That's Hearns in motion. Play clock is down to 1. I don't know if he got it off. And a timeout called by the Jags.
Timeout Jacksonville. That's their first.
So their first time out of the second half. They're facing a 3rd down and long. Down by 10 when we return. Colts have won 10 straight games against the AFC South opponents. They've won 4 straight against the Jaguars. They lead it by 10, and the Jags facing a 3rd down and 9. The Colts showing a blitz from the middle. Bortles out of the shotgun. He has 4 receivers. He floats it to the near side, incomplete. There is a flag down, though. And we may see a penalty against Josh Gordy.
I think it was a pick play by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I expect it to be offensive pass interference.
Pass interference, offense, number 11. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
So Marquise Lee called for the penalty.
That's the one thing I am happy to see that the referees are calling this year. Some of the pick plays the offenses are doing to the 2 defensive backs. Not fair. If you're not going to let defensive backs play aggressively, then you can't pick them 5 yards down the field. That was a good call by the referees.
So now Cribbs back deep to receive. Angers punt. It's a good one. Cribbs backpedaling. He backpedals inside the 20. Boy, he got a good start, but then he stumbled down. Flag comes in, and he barely got back to the 25. Well, Cribbs wants to be aggressive today. There's no doubt about that. There weren't a whole lot of penalties in the first half, but we've seen our share here in the second half.
During the return, the illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 10. A 10-yard penalty is enforced in the dead ball spot. Indianapolis keeps the ball after enforcement. First down.
I wonder how long it's been since Dante Moncrief has been part of special teams, but here in his rookie year, he's a part of everything. 10-point lead for the Colts. They'll have the ball with 6:46 to play in the 3rd.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new way to Taco Bell is here, only in the app. And by Miller Lite. Back in its original look, it's Miller time.
Well, back here in Indianapolis, the Colts have a 10-point lead, 13-3. Trent Richardson, who scored a touchdown on the last possession, is in the game next to Andrew Luck in the backfield. It'll be first down from the 15 after the penalty. It was a 60-yard punt, a net of 64. And the handoff goes to Richardson running right, and Richardson bounces across the 25 to the 27. Jonathan Cyprien in on the tackle. Chris, do you think this is the way they'll play the rest of the game?
If I'm the Indianapolis Colts and Pep Hamilton, there you see big Trent Richardson. That's what I'd like to see out of him, first of all, more. Hit the hole and go. Dance later. But yes, I do expect the Colts to be a little more conservative here. The Jaguars have not shown that they can do anything offensively.
Luck looking to throw to the near side. T.Y. Hilton into the open field. He said he wanted to score a touchdown for his new daughter, and he does. "73 yards, and that one is for Gigi."
Well, what a play by Andrew Luck. He's got Colby Fleener going down the middle. He looks him off, then comes outside to T.Y. Hilton. Dwayne Gratz. Wasn't totally his fault there. Safety didn't help him either. But T.Y. Hilton, you see why he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. Got some big-time speed on the outside.
So now the point after by Vinatieri with 6:08 to play here in the third quarter. Point after is good. 20-3. Colts on top. 3 receptions, 114 yards. Little personification right here, cradling his newborn baby. Gigi was born earlier today. T.Y. made it to the game and into the end zone. Andrew Luck loves the fact that he came into the league the same time as T.Y. Hilton. He says that they've kind of grown together. T.Y., like Andrew Luck, studies the game. Well, they just connected on a 73-yard touchdown pass. The kickoff goes out of the end zone, and the Jaguars in a hole, down 20-3. How about this, Chris?
Well, it's cover 2 zone here. So you got 2 deep safeties. You see them right here. Their job is to do this. Dwayne Grotz down here, he's playing zone. He's responsible for the flat. Now they go play action, and you got the tight end down the seam, T.Y. outside. Jonathan Cyprien, the safety towards the bottom of the screen here, he had no business going after Colby Fleener. That left Dwayne Grotz in a vulnerable position, and Luck and Hilton connect for the big touchdown.
And now Bortles is in trouble, and he's taken down. A sack inside the 10. DeQuell Jackson, his 4th sack of the year.
Well, you see DeQuell, there he is right there in the middle of the defense, the leader of this defense. Does a great job. Really, he has coverage on Denard Robinson. Once he sees Denard Robinson block, then he reacts to come in to get Blake Bortles. Great read and reaction skills by DeQuell there.
He's still a big-time leader. He was more of a spokesperson with Cleveland. He said here, he goes, I've got guys that have done it before. He said, I don't need to be the same leader that I was in Cleveland. My actions can speak louder than my words here in Indianapolis. 3rd down or 2nd down and long. Bortles pass is incomplete, intended for Cecil Shorts. There is a flag, however, back inside the 10-yard line.
Guessing it's going to be a legal formation or maybe 2 people moving on the snap.
See, it's going to be a 5-yard penalty. That's what
Illegal shift by the offense. More than one man was moving at the same time. That penalty is declined. Brings up 3rd down.
So I had Hockley signal over to Chuck Pagano, so that's why he declined the penalty. So Gus Bradley's team, boy, struggling to get a lot going offensively, and now Chuck Pagano's team is starting to lean away here a little bit with some big plays.
Yes, well, they have the freedom now. They know their offense is hitting its stride a little bit. So now Chuck Pagano can kind of unleash the hounds on defense and say, you know what, we can take a chance here and there, maybe create some other big plays.
Out of the shotgun is Bortles on 3rd down. Todman has some blockers, but is tripped up inside the 20 by Darius Butler. It'll be 4th down, and the Jags will have to punt. This is one-on-one tackling right here.
Really is, and you see there DeQuell Jackson again. He does a good job reading the screen. And then Deion Butler, corners, hey, who says they don't tackle? He showed you. Deion Butler, a great little nickelback starting, of course, today for Greg Toller, who's been a really good corner for this Colts team all year long as well.
Cribs back deep to receive. This is another good punt from Anger. Flags come in. Cribs fumbles the ball, picks it back up. He'll get back across the 25. He's got an opening inside Jaguars territory, right past Anger. Toby Gerhart can't get him, and Cribs will go in. There is a flag down at the 33. But Cribs showing some athleticism at the beginning, in the middle, and at the ends.
I think we're going to see well, we'll see. I'm not sure what they called here. I thought maybe the Jaguars covering the punt ran out of bounds and didn't come directly back inbounds, which is against the rules.
It's the 4th punt return for a touchdown for Cribs in his career if it stands. It's an 82-yard return. And how about paying dividends almost immediately if this stands for the Colts? And here we go.
During the kick, personal foul, Indianapolis, number 27. Went out of bounds and blocked the player out of bounds. By rule, that's a 15-yard penalty. It will be enforced from where the kick was caught. Indianapolis keeps the ball, 1st down.
All right, take us through it here, Chris.
All right, well, you're going to see it's going to be here at the bottom of your screen. You see the double coverage right here on the gunner and the punt. Now, the ball is snapped. They push him out of bounds. As a defender, you have to stop right there. He kind of gets there 2 extra pushes. certainly against the rules. Good call by Ed Hockley and company.
So Josh Gordy called for the penalty.
It's a shame for Josh Cribbs, but it was the right call.
Well, it also, I think, gives you a little insight as to why the Colts decided to take a chance on Cribbs, because he can do just that.
He can do just that, and he's reliable just to catch the ball in bad elements come playoff time, December, whatever it is, you can trust his hands.
Well, Mike Carey just told us, our officiating expert, that what Chris said is was exactly right as far as the blocking out of bounds, and it was the right call.
Great, thanks, Mike Carey. I'm glad. We always
it's
agreed
nice to have a little affirmation.
When we were on the field together, he always treated me well too.
On first down, Luck inside handoff to Boom Herron. He broke a tackle, and Herron up to the 14. Avery Jones, Jonathan Cyprien make the tackle.
If I am the Colts here, we talked about it a little before. I do just err on conservative, because the one thing we've seen, the Jaguars can't move the ball, and the only way the Jaguars have made any plays today is with the rush of their front four. So if I'm Pep Hamilton and company, I do tell Andrew Luck to be conservative in decision-making. Don't be afraid to throw it away.
On second down, here's Herron. And Herron gets close to the 20-yard line. So we'll see if that's the first down. Let's get an update from JB in New York.
Tom and Chris, a nice piece of running here.
Isaiah Crowell's going to bend it like Beckham, come back and press the gap and reverse fill again and keep his balance, showing strength. His second of the day, 7th on the year. Cleveland up 23-14.
Low center of gravity. Tom McCarthy, Chris Sims.
All right, JB, Crowell, I watched him play last week against the Texans. He showed some signs of being able to do just that. And then, as the week moved on, they let Ben Tate go because of the evolution of Crowell.
Yes, Crowell. They got a Terrence West, a rookie running back as well, who's very talented group. It's a very talented group of running backs they got there. They're young. They can run the football, Cleveland, and the Atlanta Falcons, they can't stop the run.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense when I watch it.
All right, so it'll be third down and inches. You see Chuck Pagano whispering in the ear of Pep Hamilton. They just brought the chains out. A.Q. Shipley will check in. Also in is Andrew Jackson, so we'll assume that Jackson will line up in the backfield as he did on the touchdown run. There's A.Q. Trent Richardson is in as well.
A lot of big bodies. Sorry to cut you off there, but, man, a lot of big bodies on the field for the Colts right now.
There you see Jackson, number 54. Excellent conversion rate today for the Colts. Richardson takes the handoff, and he has the first down to the 23. Cyprien makes the tackle. They've had third downs and one several times in this half, and they've converted all of them, including the one for the touchdown by Trent Richardson.
Well, of course, the Colts are always a good third down team for the most part because of Andrew Luck and his ability to throw and his ability to run the ball when there is coverage down the field.
First down from the 23. Luck out of the shotgun. Has time. Lofts it to the far side. Oh, Reggie Wayne. He was wide open. If he hit him in stride, he may have just went into the end zone. Aaron Colvin was in on the coverage.
Wow, well, you're going to see here, there's Reggie Wayne right there. What he's going to run basically is what you call a sail takeoff, a corner takeoff. He's going to run to the corner and then turn it up. This is going to make Reggie Wayne and Andrew Luck sick tomorrow when they watch the film, because that was a big one.
206th appearance for Reggie Wayne in his Colts career. That ties him for second most in Colts history with who? Johnny Unitas. Wow. Yeah. On second down, Luck looking to throw to the near side. Moncrief has it close to the 30. Dives with the second effort, and he may have the first down. It depends on the spot. I think they're going to give it to him.
I really like this Dante Moncrief kid. He had first-round talent, in my opinion. He came from an Ole Miss football team that's not known for throwing the football. But if you look at him and see him in person, he's really put together. He can really fly. Him and T.Y. Hilton going forward here the next few years, watch out, because they are going to be an explosive tandem in the passing game.
And the challenge flag comes down, Chris, because we just looked at the replay, and you can see that his foot may have been out of bounds.
Right. Yep, right there on the 30-yard line.
Just may have been out of bounds, maybe about a yard and a half shy of that first down. So might even be more than that.
Indianapolis is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a first down.
So 1:48 to play. Gus Bradley's last challenge was successful. We'll see if this one is as well. I think a lot of it will depend on what the officials can see with replay. We saw a shot right there. As you look at Moncrief, it looks like his foot is right on the edge of the sideline. It's really tough to tell if it's out of bounds, but we kind of saw it on replay. As you blow it up, it's tough to see whether it's conclusive or not.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how they rule this. This might be the shot for us right here to see if he got definitely out.
See, there it looks like he's out of bounds, but it's still tough to say on the angle.
Right, I don't know if it's conclusive to be able to say it at this point. This right here, if we can't tell here, then we're not going to be able to tell. Wow.
Yeah, see, I think that's tough to tell or tough to overturn. I mean, it's a great shot. And I think that's part of it. As we all know with replay, whether it's conclusive or not, I don't know if you can say that's conclusive.
No, I don't know if you can either. And you see the referee down there at the bottom of the screen, so he had a clear look at it. Yes, if you made me bet here, I'd say this play stands and they get the first down. I don't think you've seen enough evidence to say, okay, he definitely was out.
See, right there, it does look like he's out, but again, it's the angle.
Right.
It's tough to tell whether it's definitive. Ed Hockley's walking back onto the field.
The ruling on the field stands as called. It's a first down.
Well, the key word is stands, obviously, because that tells you that there's not conclusive evidence to overturn what was originally called.
Good job by Ed Hockley. I got to lift weights with Ed Hockley once. You know that?
Did you outlift him?
No, he can go. I mean, he was only doing chest, more chest, and more chest. But you see the guns and the pectorals Ed Hockley has. He's a great guy. Always enjoyed when he was behind me as a quarterback.
Well, it is a first down for the Colts. They'll mark it at the 33-yard line. With 1:48 to play here in the third quarter, the Colts have kind of taken over here in the second half. Trent Richardson stays in the ball game in the backfield. Fleener is the tight end on the right side of the offensive line. You see Hilton in motion. Off the play fake. Luck steps up, pumps, he's going to run. He's got some room. He's got a first down and much more. And he slides inside Jacksonville territory. Here comes a flag. And Kobe Fleener's is tied up with Josh Evans at the end of that play. Well, this says Andrew Luck can't run.
Oh, this is what makes him so hard to defend. This is why he is one of the best quarterbacks in football.
Well, he slid down at the end. I don't know if he was hitting the helmet as he slid down, but the flag came in that area.
Personal foul. Defense number 36. Forearm to the neck of the quarterback on the ground. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So Sherrod Martin is called for the penalty.
Yeah, you'll see here right there. Man, that's tough. It really is. I feel bad for Sherrod Martin. It's the little extracurricular elbow push into the ground right there at the end that I think finally just makes the referee call it.
Yeah, right there.
But as a defender right now in the NFL, you just got to know if you're by the quarterback and as soon as you start to see him go down, you got to know you can't touch the guy.
20-yard run plus a 15-yard penalty puts the ball at the 32 of Jacksonville. Seventh play of this drive. A drive that's lasted more than 3 minutes. Hilton splits the defenders out of bounds inside the 20.
Well, another great play call by Pep Hamilton, just kind of taking advantage of the aggressiveness of this Jaguars defense. They are flying to the ball. He knows that, of course, calls the end around there with T.Y. Hilton, who can really go when he's got the ball in his hand.
How about the block by Kobe Fleener? to free T.Y. Hilton. And you and I get a chance to talk to Pep Hamilton from time to time. We talked to him a couple days ago. He's as bright an offensive coordinator as you're going to find in the National Football League. Jack Doyle with the reception at the 17-yard line. Geno Hayes in on the coverage. Kind of interesting to hear the evolution of his offense. You know, the guys that he's worked with, Norv Turner, Paul Hackett, and it's evolved into the offense you see now.
It really has evolved, and I give this guy a lot of credit. Pep Hamilton done an unbelievable job, not only this year, but from the time when he came into the NFL last year. This is what tells me he's a great coach. He has evolved since he's gotten to the NFL. I think he will be candidate number one for head coaching jobs. You talk about African-American coaches getting into the head coaching ranks. Well, this guy, he deserves a shot. He's a very good football coach.
Trent Richardson inside the 15 to the 14. That may be the final play of this third quarter. Ziggy Hood makes the tackle. And the Colts will be content to let the clock wind down to 0 and play the last 15 minutes of this game. They're on top 20-3 at the end of the third quarter. The big play. T.Y. Hilton, he arrived about 15 minutes before the start of the ball game. He's over 100 yards receiving. We'll return to Indianapolis after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, we get set to begin the fourth quarter here in Indianapolis. This was a 6-3 game at the half. Now it's 20-3. Along with Chris Sims, I'm Tom McCarthy. Amazing the turnaround, but we can expect this from the Indianapolis Colts from time to time.
Well, there's only so long you can hold down Andrew Luck and all these weapons he has in the pass game. They got it together. They're hitting on all cylinders now. And this Jacksonville Jaguars defense been on the field too much. They're just getting worn down now.
First 28 plays for Andrew Luck. He was sacked 5 times. This is the 31st play since. And Fleener was open but heard footsteps. He let him a little bit too much.
That made me laugh right there because he did hear footsteps. Jonathan Cyprien coming over there. He took a second look before that ball got there just to make sure he wasn't going to get his head knocked off.
Now, I say that without playing one down ever of football in my life, but it looked that way.
Hey, it happens. It's human reaction. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Rob Gronkowski or Colby Fleener. Every now and then you're going to peek to see who's coming to hit you.
Well, this will be a 32-yard field goal attempt for Vinatieri. He's made 2 already today, and boy, everything looks like a chip shot for Adam Vinatieri the way he's kicking the ball right now. 23-3. He's made 31 straight, so Andrew Luck probably disappointed he didn't get 6, but okay that they at least got some points. Here's this pass play to his old college teammate.
Yep, just running a little stick go, a little double move. Don't know if he would have had a chance, but you do see him look over there at Jonathan Cyprien. I'm sure he'll take some flack for that tomorrow in the meeting room.
People affected by severe weather and other disasters need help now. To support those impacted by disasters like the winter storms in Buffalo and countless other crises, text Red Cross to 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross Disaster Relief. CBS cares. Our colleague Steve Tasker is from the Buffalo area. He never did get home from his last game. He got to the city of Buffalo, but because the snow was so bad, he never actually got home. And for all those folks up there, I mean, obviously Chris and I are from New Jersey. We could never have envisioned anything like that. Hardy souls. At least they'll get a chance to watch some football today and also a little football tomorrow. Todman lets that one go over his head out of bounds. So 6 kickoffs, 6 touchbacks. Pat McAfee says that this is the best special teams he's ever been part of, and he's a big reason why.
Certainly is. I think, we turn the page here. Of course, Jacksonville down by 20. Doesn't look great for them. Start to push the envelope if I'm Blake Bortles here. Even if I'm just the Jacksonville coaching staff, I look at them right now. Hey, let's throw the ball down the field. We got some young receivers. Let's work on our timing and rhythm. This is about building a team for the future. They know they're not ready right now. But I think they got to take the training wheels off a little bit.
Speaking of that, Marquise Lee with a reception. Jed Fish did tell us that it's not as complicated as an offense as he had with Chad Henne. He simplified things with Blake Bortles. They feel like they are heading in the right direction, though, on so many different levels. There's Chad Henne, the starter to begin the season. And they say Henne's been great through this whole process, as Darius Butler is slow to get up. We talked to Jed Fish about the process leading into Bortles coming into the second half of that Colts game. And he said, they had talked about it during the week. Henne understood, and he just felt like they couldn't get anything going in that Colts game early this year, and that's why they decided to finally pull the trigger. Second down and 2. Off the play fake, Bortles will slide to the 30. Boy, he's very close to the first down. It's not definitive that he got it.
No, and he slid too early, so I don't think he got it. That's one there, if you're Blake Bortles, you got to go in head first to get the benefit of the spot, but he really ended up only getting about a yard here. He looks like he's a little short.
Third and inches. Third down has not been the friend of the Jaguars here today. He'll keep it himself and dive forward. I think he's got it this time.
I think he got it as well. Getting back to the Blake Bortles conversation, I think the approach for the Jacksonville Jaguars was right on. They tried to go with Chad Henne. Offense wasn't really going. You play Blake Bortles, he'll be thankful going into year 2 that he got these snaps. Quarterback in the NFL, a position that's impossible to practice. Until you get out here in this environment, you got defensive linemen coming to rip your head off. That's the only way you can practice this position. And like I said, I think Blake Bortles will be very thankful that he got this experience come next year.
On first down, he is spun down. Flags come in, but LaRon Landry also came in. Right now it's a loss of 7.
Illegal hands to the face, offense number 65. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Linder called for the penalty.
But you're going to see there's DeJuan Landry right there. He's getting low, like the quarterback can't see him, but he's going to come in a full-speed blitz. LaRon Landry, one of the physical freaks in the NFL at the safety position. You can see his guns right there in his arms. He can really go. He's a physical safety who can cover a lot of ground. They're going to be a better defense with him back in the back end again.
Yeah, it looked like Denard Robinson had to choose Freeman, Landry. Who do I block? He chose Freeman, and that opened the gates for Landry.
And here he comes again.
Yep. So LaRon Landry in on the sack, but Freeman was there as well.
2 rookies on the offensive line, a rookie quarterback. They're having trouble. But here's LaRon Landry again. He's going to hit the blitz right on snap. There's just not enough people to pick it up. Blake Bortles there. He's got to know he's got to get the ball out of his hands, know that he's outnumbered in pass protection.
Well, this has been a dominating half by Indianapolis, really on both ends of the field. It's third down and 24. Bortles pass completes to Allen Hurns, but well shy of a first down. Mike Adams in on the coverage. Bortles is off, Anger is back on, and Cribbs will get a chance to return another one. Cheerleaders were coming in just to give Cribbs a little positive reinforcement. They thought there was going to be a TV timeout.
Cheerleaders running on the field from all different angles here.
Anger stands just outside his 15. He's been good today. Cribbs comes running up, doesn't call the fair catch, misses one, up across the 30. Well, he hasn't played all year. He's figuring, I'm going to get as many touches as possible. I'm going to try to return everything. The defense, dominant, particularly on the last series, led by LaRon Landry. One thing that book is telling Jed Fish is that there's a lot of pressure on Blake Bortles. I mean, look at the difference. First half, it was Jacksonville in the backfield against Luck. Second half, it's the Colts, including 2 sacks on the last 2 plays. And now Andrew Luck, decent field position with 11:53 to play here in the fourth quarter. T.Y. Hilton's in motion to the near side. Off the play fake, Luck looking to throw, lofts it toward Hilton, and he overthrows him. I think there was incidental contact there between Hilton and Gratz.
I agree. I think that was a good no call. It was incidental contact. Good coverage by Gratz.
Well, we talked about the fact that the Colts are leading the AFC South. They're 6-4, one game ahead of Houston. Now the Texans are losing today. Their defense is outstanding, and Alfred Blue last week against the Browns ran all over Cleveland. But they are trailing today. I guess it's safe to say the Colts have destiny in their hands as far as the division is concerned.
They certainly do, especially if Houston loses to Cincinnati today, going to make them very hard to them come back in this AFC South.
J.T. Thomas hits Boom Herron after the catch. It'll be third down.
They do play each other week 16, so that could be, of course, a big battle. And you look at it, this Colts team, they still got some tough games on the schedule. I believe they got to play the Cleveland Browns still. They also have to play the Dallas Cowboys. So by no means is this race for the AFC South quite done yet. Texans still got a shot.
Richardson checks back in the backfield. Two receivers to the top, one to the bottom. Andrew Luck just tells Kobe Fleener he's got 22. He does pick up the rush, and Reggie Wayne can't get open. Probably let him a little bit too much, so it'll be fourth down.
Yep, basically what they did down the field there, Reggie Wayne and T.Y. Hilton did both deep crosses. It's almost like a pick down the field, a little rub play. Just not enough separation there by Reggie Wayne. And you'll see it here. You're going to, yep. There goes Reggie across the formation. You see T.Y. coming from the other side. I think if Luck has his decision back, he would have rather gone to T.Y. when he reevaluates that tomorrow.
Third punt of the day for Pat McAfee. And this is a booming high kick. Ace Sanders back at the 11. And Sanders is down at the 18. There is a flag that stands at the 30. It's a 52-yard punt. Enoch Muwamba makes the tackle for the Colts. We've talked about this all year. The officials have the headsets. They can confer without getting together,
During
but
the
they
kick,
still
holding
do.
by the receiving team, number 27. Half the distance to the goal from where the kick was caught. And Jacksonville keeps the ball. First down.
10:47 to play here in the fourth quarter. Not much has gone right for Jacksonville. They'll have it when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network. Game of War. Play free now. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, back here in Indianapolis, the Colts fans are dancing because they lead it by 20. With 10:47 to play, fourth quarter, they brought a lot of pressure to Blake Bortles from his end zone. He has Denard Robinson who breaks a tackle. And Robinson has the first down up to the 17-yard line. Jarrell Freeman makes the tackle, a gain of 12.
Same exact play we saw the last time Jacksonville Jaguars were backed up in their own end zone. My big thing with Jacksonville right now, I want to see the ball thrown down the field. You got to back somebody off at some point, take a shot, but we've seen a lot of dink and dunk so far today with Blake Bortles and company. Here's the same play, other side.
And Robinson does have a blocker, so he gets across the 30. Cecil Shorts did a nice job holding his defender to give Denard Robinson some freedom there. Gain of 16.
Jacksonville does have weapons at the wide receiver position. They are young, yes. Cecil Shorts not young. But Allen Hurns, I understand that. But there's talent there. I think if there's one thing I question about Blake Bortles going forward, he's going to have to improve some of the mechanics in throwing the football and his ability to throw the ball down the field.
How about that one-handed snag? I know he didn't gain a whole lot, but Denard Robinson, he said he worked on his grip during the offseason.
It's an unbelievable catch, really, especially when you know Jarrell Freeman's about to breathe down your neck right there. But that's 3 consecutive passes we've seen behind the line of scrimmage. The Colts are playing single safety defenses. That's leaving the receivers one-on-one outside. Like to see some balls go out there.
On second down, they do finally get it to Cecil Shorts up to the 39. That's his first reception of the day. He's one of those weapons that you talk about.
He certainly is. Cecil Shorts is one of the better receivers in the NFL that I don't know the common everyday fan knows about, but He's been very good for this team the past few years. I was working in New England a few years ago. We played Jacksonville. All we worried about was stopping Cecil Shorts.
So a third down. They haven't been very successful on third down today. Toby Gerhart. Well, that's an awkward grab, but a great spin. And a flag is down. He does have the first down, but it's all dependent on the flag. I think that move right there shows how healthy his foot is. The fact that he was able to spin away.
Illegal contact defense, number 27. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
All right, so part of this drive has been Denard Robinson out of the backfield. Look at this catch. Whoop.
Wow. Quarterback usually got the best hands. He was a quarterback. We touch the ball a lot, so we're used to having that ball in our hands.
Here's Gerhart, second straight reception. Gerhart, a gain of 9 to the 46. Well, after this game, I'm going to get a football. We're going to go down to the field. I'm going to throw it wide of you and see if you can grab it with one hand.
Well, first of all, we don't know about your throwing ability. Second of all, I could catch it, but it's a whole different thing catching it when someone's about to try to knock you out.
Second down and 1. Gerhart, another first down. And Gerhart inside the 40. Well, you don't see this very often at a football game. At least anymore.
Oh, I love the wave. I remember being a young kid watching my dad at Giant Stadium in preseason games. This was the most exciting part of the game.
Under 8 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Indianapolis up 20. And Bortles on a slant to Marquise Lee. And Lee, look how fast he is, heading toward the end zone. And he's dragged down at the 1-yard line. Vontae Davis makes the tackle. All right, I know that Indianapolis is up by 20, but there's what you talked about as far as the playmakers go.
There you go, Marquise Lee. Yes, he was a superstar for the USC Trojans the past few years. He can make some plays after the catch. You can see the burst he has. He's a good route runner. I'd like to see the ball in some of these guys' hands just a little bit more.
37-yard gain. It's first and goal from the 1. Robinson back in. Bortles to throw. Lofts it toward the corner of the end zone. He led Lee too much. It'll be second down.
Well, there you see Marquise. He ran a slant route. And this is what he did in college. He can, it's what you call yak, yards after catch. He can go. He can make people miss in space.
He set 24 school records at USC. 24. That's a lot of records. Second and goal. Robinson, not much there. Mike Adams, DeQuell Jackson, Montori Hughes.
I just, I question there just the play call altogether. With that many people at the line of scrimmage, I mean, look at it there. You got 7, 8 guys right in the box there. You're not going to be able to run that football. I don't care what offensive line or running back you got. They're going to have to throw the football here to score. The Indianapolis Colts are not going to let them run this football in.
Lewis is at the top of your screen. 6'6" Mercedes Lewis. Jacobs in motion. Bortles going toward Lewis. He can't hang on. Vontae Davis in on the coverage. There's a flag.
Oh, was snapped. Timeout. Indianapolis. That's their first. It's a 30-second timeout.
All right, so that play has been negated because there was a timeout called by Indianapolis. It's not a bad idea to do this, though, to go to Lewis, who does have size over Vontae Davis.
It is not a bad idea. That is for sure. You're right about that. It shows you the skills of Vontae Davis, though, because this is what makes him so special. Not only the fact that he can run, he's great at the line of scrimmage, and he has size to match. So there is what you see. He can match up with the big tight ends in those type of situations, and he can also cover the smaller, quicker type slot receivers.
All right, so Lewis is out. You erase that play from your memory. It's the 11th play of the drive now. It's third and goal from the 3. Dual receivers stacked on both sides. Bortles to throw. Pumps once. Throws toward the corner of the end zone. And Lee almost with a one-handed grab. Covered by Sergio Brown.
Well, that was a nice call by Chuck Pagano and Greg Minuski. They dropped a bunch of people into coverage there. Bortles makes a pretty good throw right there. That would have been a tough catch. But that was about the only spot Bortles could have put it. And they're going for it on fourth down here, which they should. They have to, of course.
Yeah, 1-9 on the year, down 23-3 with 6:09 to play, fourth quarter. In motion is Lee. Todman's in the backfield. Here comes the blitz by the Colts. Bortles under pressure and throws it, and it's incomplete. Mike Adams was in the backfield as Bortles was going down. Now the Colts take over on downs. Think back to Marquise Lee on that slant, the saving tackle at the 1-yard line. Are they saying that was an interception?
I think DeQuell Jackson might have got his hands.
The pass was intercepted in the end zone.
Boy, I thought it hit the ground.
Indianapolis.
So the ruling on the field right now is that it's an interception for DeQuell Jackson. We'll find out. Take a look. Cecil Shorts, maybe he kept his hands on it, and here comes DeQuell. All turnovers are reviewable, and this is a turnover. Watch Bortles as he's going down. He throws it up. I think that Cecil Shorts has it there, but then drops it right here, Chris. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It looks like it comes down there underneath his chest, then pops out underneath his arms. I think this will be overturned.
Now, it does land on the behind of the defender, and DeQuell Jackson does pick it up.
Right. It was fourth down. They're spotted the ball already, it looks like, at the 3-yard line.
Yeah.
So that tells me that they're going to say it was no interception.
Well, here's Ed Hockley. Ed's talking to Scott Helverson, the back judge. Now, whether it's clear enough for them to overturn it, that's always the question. But it looks like they already have because they've moved the ball back to the 3. And here we go.
The pass hit the ground. It was therefore an incomplete pass. Hit the ground, bounced up, and was then caught by the Indianapolis player. But it was incomplete because it hit the ground. It was a fourth down play. The ball goes over to Indianapolis. First down on the 3-yard line.
Well, our officiating expert is Mike Carey. And Mike, I don't know, those kind of plays have got to be so difficult for an official to see live.
You're right about that. It's one of those split-second decisions, and you're watching it at full speed. Very, very difficult. That's why replay really helps us. Chris, you have eyes like an eagle. The receiver did bounce it up, but then it hit the ground right at that instant. It's incomplete.
Yeah, so replay has really helped in this ball game on a couple of different occasions. Mike, all turnovers are reviewable, and obviously it's a 23-3 game here, but in tight games, this is a very important play to review.
Yeah, that's a game changer. And you see both officials have a very good look at it, but it happens so fast. Replay really helps us out in these situations.
All right, Mike, we appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We have appreciated Mike being part of our telecast here today, as he is with every CBS telecast.
Oh, Mike's awesome. Mike's the youngest looking old guy I've ever known, I'm telling you. He is looking good still. Awesome guy. Always enjoyed him.
Second down at 11. I formation. Luck to throw. Pass complete to T.Y. Hilton. And Hilton gets up to the 10. Josh Evans in on the coverage. So it's a more manageable third down right now. And if you're the Colts, you just want to run the last 5 minutes off this clock if you can.
Yes, you'd like to just get out of here, stay healthy, move on to the next opponent. I do think you'll see Andrew Luck probably try to throw the ball to get the first down here, but it'll be something short and conservative, I would expect.
Trent Richardson in the backfield. Andrew Luck is still his team's leading rusher today. 5 carries for 51 yards. Let's try to get them off sides with his quarterback voice. Dante Moncrief with a first down and more. Demetrius McCray in on the tackle, a 16-yard gain. Tomorrow on CBS, are Two Broke Girls ready for a business seminar? And is it ready for them? All new Two Broke Girls, followed by The Big Bang Theory, tomorrow at 8, 7 Central. Only CBS. Clock under 4 minutes to play. The first down from the 26. High formation, Doyle, one of the tight ends, acting as a fullback. There's Moncrief in motion. Trent Richardson running right. Red Bryant in on the tackle after a gain of 3 on the play. All right, so the remaining schedule for the Colts, you alluded to it before, Chris. Chuck Pagano knows that, destiny, he's got it in his hands, but there's still some tough games up ahead.
There certainly is. The Cleveland Browns, of course, right in the thick of things for the playoff race. Houston Texans will not be easy because they can run the football, and that would scare me if I'm the Colts because of the lack of run defense as of late. And then the same, you're going to go to the Dallas Cowboys and play the best offensive line in football, in my opinion, with DeMarco Murray.
And what did Derek Marks tell us yesterday? Best running back in the game right now is DeMarco Murray.
Yes, I thought that was great to hear from Derek. He's got great perspective for a big, nasty defensive tackle.
There's Boom Herron, and Herron's got a first down. Lowers his shoulder at the 45, out of bounds at the 46. Jonathan Harrison had the block to free him. It's an 18-yard gain. Pep Hamilton says in the running game, he says, hey, it is what it is. He goes, we have strengths. Our strength is Andrew Luck and the receivers. We'd like to run the ball a little bit more, but I've come to realize that I've got to go with what I have and hope the other guys can help out. And I think Boom Herron's had a pretty good day today.
He really has. I've liked what I've seen. And, that's what I love about situations like this. A lot of people, I think, oh, they just want to get out of here. Sure, they do. But this is also a good opportunity for them to just improve on the running game, get some of the kinks out with some of the young offensive linemen, and get Boom Herron some quality reps.
Well, this is his 12th carry of the game, and he's inside Jacksonville territory to the 45. He's got 65 yards on the ground right now. And a timeout called by Jacksonville with 2:38 to play. So we'll take a timeout. Indianapolis on top by 20. They've dominated this second half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement. And by Subway Restaurants. Get your own big hot pastrami melt at Subway.
Indianapolis Colts wondered today how would they fill the void left by Ahmad Bradshaw. Obviously Richardson was part of that before, but Boom Herron in a start this afternoon, 12 carries, 65 yards.
Got to be happy with that, over 100 yards rushing just between the two there.
Richardson is back in. Luck with a quick toss to Reggie Wayne, and Wayne looking for something. He's got the first down to the 42.
When I look at that, the run stat we just saw, Tom, I think, hey, that's great. They don't need this run game to lead the NFL. They just need a run game that's going to keep defenses honest. So then, again, open up the game for Andrew Luck, especially going forward here as we get deeper and deeper into the season. Play better defenses in the playoffs. You don't want to be one-dimensional.
Yeah, and I think the way he was pressured in the first half, it's nice to have a running game to help divert some of that pressure. So we have reached the 2-minute warning here in the fourth quarter with the Colts on top 23-3. Coming up next, Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins tough it out with Peyton Manning and the Broncos, where the Redskins tangle with the 49ers. That's all coming up next here on CBS. Hello, Chris Sims. I'm Tom McCarthy. We've got 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter here. Andrew Luck on top 23-3. There's Reggie Wayne with another 3-reception ball game. 81 straight games with 3 receptions or more. Meanwhile, Andrew Luck, he's under 300 yards today. He's got a streak of 8 straight games of 300 yards or more. It looks like Drew Brees' record is going to stand.
Wow, and you wouldn't have thought the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to be the team that were going to stop this streak, to be totally honest with you. So they did a great job today, especially in the first half. This defense for Jacksonville, I can't say enough about it. They've played well. This is, sometimes you hear, hey, stats lie. Stats lie with this Jacksonville defense. They're put in a lot of tough situations. They're on the field a lot. they get worn down because of the inept offense.
So they have no timeouts left. So victory formation for the Colts. Andrew Luck will take a knee. It'll be 3rd down. And the fans who came here to Lucas Oil Stadium, a little worried after the last game against the New England Patriots. And after the first half, when the Jaguars and the Patriots had played to a 6-3 game, they might have been even a little more concerned, but no more concerns the way these Colts played the second half here this afternoon.
No more concerns, and hey, you got to remember the NFL, there's no such thing as an easy game. There's a lot of good players in every team. The difference between a 2-14 team and a 10-6 team is just 5 or 6 plays throughout the year.
So Andrew Luck will take a knee, and that will do it. The Indianapolis Colts and T.Y. Hilton have defeated the Jaguars 23-3. T.Y., a touchdown reception, plus he welcomed the birth of his daughter. There's Chuck Pagano, has a lot of respect for Gus Bradley. And Gus, even though he loses by 20, he's still always optimistic and thinks the future is bright for Blake Bortles and his Jaguars. They just have to make sure that their vision is clear, that they understand where they're heading and what they need to do. So 23-3 is the final score. The Indianapolis Colts have defeated the Jaguars. Andrew Luck had a fairly efficient day. He was on his back a lot in the first half. He obviously was able to make some adjustments. Now for Chris Sims and our entire crew, I'm Tom McCarthy. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Now it's time for the NFL Today update presented by LG G3.